Hello everybody, this is Werner Fehn from Bone Mentor. I'm the CEO and co-founder of this company. We are doing this Lyosis fracture management software to help you in your PFC programs. First of all, I want to show you a very few slides and then I'm happy to give you a live demo of the software. So let's start. So our fracture management software is capturing critical globally recognized PFC key performance indicators in a digital tool to help your program to improve the effectiveness of your program and increase patient outcomes. At a glance, it's a browser-based in-house service. That means it is running on every device which holds a browser because the software is installed in your IT infrastructure in your hospital, and that means all the patient data are kept in the hospital. We are providing a KPI dashboard to measure and optimize all related and associated process and tasks to optimize your workflow and reduce administrative overhead and double work. That leads to a significant reduction of cost for human resources and giving you an optimal patient care through our task-driven workflow. That means it helps you to enable PFC FLS efficiency, to provide continuity of care, to manage patients more effectively, to improve clinical outcomes and reduce medical and healthcare costs. Overall, we have a dashboard, we have administrative portion of the software, we have clinical assessment data, we have letter generation, we have a task list, we have hospital backends, a lot of CSV and PDF export function, and for sure we have a backup functionality. The software provides a full version as well as a light version. That means we have a very huge database and you can enable or disable all the data you need or might not need. That means you can have more or less data to enter into the software. In the live demo, I will show you the full version with all the data, but it will be easily customizable for you to reduce the number of data you want to store in your database. For any question, we can use the Q&A session after, or you can write me an email just entering this email address. So let's go to the live demo. If you are logged in the software via any browser, you see this dashboard, what we call the dashboard, with a lot of functionality, but I want to show you a typical workflow. That would be the easiest way to understand how the software works. So starting with a new patient is coming into the hospital and you just want to enter it. And you just have to enter a patient ID, maybe a last name, first name. But the only thing what is mandatory at the first moment is just to have a patient ID. But you also can enter first name, last name, as well as address, sex, language, mobile number, primary care physician, but you can do that later on. Or add contact for monitoring. This is the only thing you have to do for a new patient. Patient ID and everything is done. Later on, you will find some kind of open task to do here in your task lists. For example, for this patient, you have to complete patient's clinical data because they are not fulfilled. Or you have to monitor a patient. Here you can see all your open tasks to do. And you can filter it by the tasks you have today, maybe in the next 7 days, or all open tasks you have to do. And for sure, you can hide or unhide already done tasks. For example, all the red buttons indicates that the tasks are overdue. That means you have to do it very fast. If you scroll down, you will find if you look to the next 7 days, you will find blue dots, that simply means you have to do it right now, or it can be green, that means you can do it in the future. There's more time to fulfill these tasks. You can also search for a patient just by entering a portion of the name. The task lists become into a result list of your search query. For this example, we found the patient, Mr. Blick, and you just have to click on the search result to go to the patient context of this patient. So here we are. If you see this menu on the left side, we are in the patient context. And in the patient's context, we have this administrative portion, we have clinical content, we have letter generation, and we have the open task just for this patient to do. If you go to the administrative portion, entering the patient information, you're coming into the same form as before when I have shown you how to add a new patient. In this case, we already have data in it. And you can click to the submenus here, or here on the right side, just scroll down. It's the same. So if you want to jump directly to this portion, you just have to click here. But I want to scroll it down that you get a better impression what we have. So we have the basic patient information. We have information about primary care physician, and we have contact for monitoring, and for sure some information about the insurance coverage. These are the administrative portion of the patient context. So coming to the clinic content, and as I said, it's a huge database, and we can customize and make it smaller for you and customize it for your needs. But I want to show you the overall database here, and you can see here that it's starting with date of assessment, index fracture, date of diagnosis, is it a hip fracture or not, and you can easily add or delete fractures like this or delete like this to bring everything into the database. Type of fracture, for example, residence of fracture, and how identified. And you can find previous fragility fractures here in the database. You can enter the FRAC score into the database, some information about parents, osteoporosis, smoker, arthritis, FRAC secondary causes, and a lot of other information like vertebral fractures, previous osteoporosis therapies, calcium and vitamin D supplementation, fall risk factors for this patient, estimated daily calcium intake, examination findings, bone density results will be entered here. So over time maybe. Laboratory test results, additional tests, other medications and allergies for this patient, treatment recommendations, calcium and vitamin D supplementations, fall intervention recommendations, planned monitoring for this patient, maybe after 16 or 52 weeks, and other things. So this is the clinical content. So coming to the letters, it's very easy to generate pre-configured letters like invitation to an DXA. You can easily create a new letter It's using a template with your logo, with your address, and with a predefined text. And the text will be automatically filled out by how you want to invite him, by a video conference, telephone, face-to-face, and other things. You can easily add some warm words. And this will be related only to the generated letter. But you can also customize the template used in the back end of the software. You can save that as a draft and maybe send it for approval, download it, or maybe trash it. So for this, we have a lot of predefined letters for you to make your life easier here. And you can see here all the open tasks for this patient. In this case, we have some open tasks for this patient because in this case we said that he has to come to monitoring. So coming back to the dashboard, you can easily print everything out or export to a PDF or CSV file. You can also customize this picture as well as the name of your hospital. And here on the right side, it's very important that you can easily find out some KPIs. Right now we have 11 predefined KPIs to measure and optimize your workflow. For example, if you want to know how much patients have a DXA within a given time, then you can see here the percentage of this result and a lot of other KPIs shown here. There's a small explanation of every KPI here, as well as sources where you can find a lot more information about these KPIs. Just to give you a very small overview about the settings, the most important thing here is that you can give permissions to the users of the software, and the permission system is highly related to roles. That means when you set up a new user of the software, you always have to say what role is he or she. So for example, a nurse, a doctor, a FLS administrator, or an IT administrator. You can also easily define new roles to adapt that better to your belongings, to the workflow of your hospital. That means, first of all, you define the roles, then you set up user and giving it to a role, and then you can easily here by hide or unhide, click or unclick here, giving every role permission to view patients, to export, to list letters, to download letters, to view the KPIs, for example, to view the open tasks, to export, to import, to edit the letter templates, and so on. So highly customizable software to the process of your hospital. That's it. Thank you very much, and welcome to the Q&A session.